welcome. It's me, Mars44, and I'm back with another Cardfight Vanguard Cardfight area deck profile. Today's deck profile, we have the, Men of the Omegas. Second version. I don't know. Star-vader, Omega Glendios. So, yeah, with the release of, I believe it's booster set G3. I'm pretty sure it's that one. And, you know, some stuff from Fighters Collection, 2015. This bad boy has gotten an upgrade to its deck, making it, much more consistent and, you know, just easier to win, where you could just either choose to kind of end them, or you could choose to world end them, but it definitely is easier to world end well. So this deck's just gotten a lot of support, and not a ton, but quite a bit of support, and definitely a lot better and a lot scarier to deal with too. A lot of people don't like fighting it, and I'm one of those people. Anyways, let's jump right into the deck profile. So our starter is Star-vader, Worldline Dragon. You know, the standard starter to let you yeah, this is Omega Glendios 2.0, right? Sorry, I just remembered that. So yeah, the standard starter to just make sure and keep this deck consistent. The deck wouldn't work without it. And I mean, it stays in your soul, so it can't be retired or anything. And yeah, it just works perfectly with it. Can't use any other starter really. And then moving on to our grade 3s, we have 3 Omega Glendios. I actually thought 4 was the better way to run it in this deck, but then I remembered of how many grade 3s you need to play and other cards you have to play, and there are some other cards you could play as well that you need to play. So 3 honestly works perfectly fine. You just have 1 for a big bad boss. One thing great about this deck is that it's the one deck that doesn't need the stride enabler because it just has so many grade 3s, which is nice. It's one of the only decks pretty much to do that. I think it is the only deck actually, because it's like Glendios where it needs all these reverse grade 3s. But yeah, just a standard 3. You don't need any more than that because of you know how the deck runs. I'm sure I explained it last time, and I used 3 last time. So if I didn't, then shame on me. But anyways, and then we have 4 Star-vader reverse Cradle. So this guy, he counts as a reverse card, and he's also a Link Joker, and he has the same skill as Omega Glendios, making all your reverse units, or well, card with the special R in their name, Link Joker. So he helps keep the deck consistent, and you know, the reason why we run 4 of these and 3 Omega is because these are also cards that can be used to Omega lock and to call and to lock something, because he has the backwards R in his card name, and he's part of Link Joker, so he helps keep the deck more consistent, and that's why we run 4 of him and 3 Omega Glendios, just in case that wasn't clear. But yeah, it's pretty standard to do this. The other way doesn't work as well, honestly, and I mean, you'll really only need 1 Omega Glendios because you just down him the whole entire game once you get him. So yeah, and then we have our 6 reverse units. You only need 6 because, well, reverse Cradle counts as 4, and you know, he's a Link Joker, so you obviously want 4 of him, and you only need 6 of these because 10 is a perfect amount. 9 is too little, and you know, 11's a little overdoing it. I guess you could push it to 11 if you want to, but there are other cards you need, considering grade 1s and 2s as well. So, yeah, 6 reverse units from other clans. Alright, so let's move on to our grade 2s. First off, we have 4 Companion Star-vader Photon. So, you know, the guy who you just call if they have a lock card. You lock something. So he just helps to set up world end a little quicker. and also helps to just lock more of your opponent's units. In general, just a really solid card to have. Only need 3 of them. 4 is a little much, especially because you do need some other cards too. But really solid card. And then we also have 4 of these. 3 of these guys. Very important. You know, if he hits, you counterblast and add a reverse card to hand. So he never hits ever because your opponents always block it. But it's super important to have for pressure, and because it's just an incredible card that helps you. And if it gets a hit, well, that's incredible. Yeah, so just great card. And then we have 2 Colony Maker. Your grade 1s are really important, so you kind of need to use this card. I know there are some other cards you could use as grade 2s, but that was before, the Stride stuff and all the support and stuff came out for it. So Colony Maker is just a little more important than some of the other grade 2s you could pick, because your grade 1s are just really important for what they do and everything. And like to help just get setups and such. So very important. And then moving on to our grade 1s, so we have 3 Flower Blooming in the Vacuum Cosmolus. I was actually thinking of playing 2 of these. But I have 3 Perfect Guards. And then I have 2 Forbidden Star-vader Rubidium. Now, of course, he doesn't count as a Perfect Guard. So you might be wondering why I'm not playing 4 Perfect Guards and 2 of him. That is a little much, though, because that means it's a lot of, you know, protective shield and everything, like Perfect Guard stuff. This is basically like you just retarget. Oops, I'm sorry. I pulled on my headset. You just retarget your attack to, you know, a rear guard with reverse and its card name, and it hits that instead of Omega Glendios. So you can avoid some attacks with it. You only need 2, but you really don't need 4 perfect guards because you have 2 of these, and even then I'm even thinking of bumping the perfect guard down 1 more, but I think 2 perfect guards is a little low. So 3 perfect guards and 2 of these guys work perfectly, especially because these guys, as I said, don't count as a sentinel. So you could play 4 of these and 4 of the normal perfect guards, but really it is a little much to play 4 perfect guards. It gets a little too cloggy, and you don't have some of the cards that you need, and yeah, so 3 and 2 is really solid and just works really well. And then we have 4 carved Seal Star-vader Praseodymium. I don't remember if I read this card the last time, but you know what he does is it's placed on rear guard. If you have a Link Joker, you choose a card from your damage zone, and for every different rear guard you have with R in his card name, you get to unflip them. So he's your damage unflipper, which is really huge on top of the because you use quite a bit of counterblast in this deck, so he's very big and very important. Definitely have to play 4 of him. And then we have 3 Star-vader Ruin Magician, so you know she gets your reverse cards back from your drop zone to your hand. So even if you know you use them for Stride, you can just easily get them back to your hand. So very nice on that factor, and very important as well. Thinking of running 4 of it, but of course the only way I think would be if I took away 1 more perfect guard. I made it 2 perfect guard and 2 of the other guys, but yeah, that's kind of up to you, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on to our triggers. So we have 4 Star-vader Liger and 3 Star-vader Weiss Soldat, so 7 crit, and then we have 4 Suppressing Theory Beloved Girl, and 1 Star-vader Nebula Captor, so 5 draw. 7 crit, 5 draw, really important because your draws help you get to your reverse units and also other units faster, because, you know, since you have so many reverse units, and since the reverse units are so important, you need to get to them. On top of the fact that because you have so many reverse units, you need to get to your other cards too, because you need them. So the 5 draw is really helpful for doing both in the situation, and a lot of the time you'll be taking damage, so early on because you want to hit 5 damage, because, yeah, well, world end. So you want to aim for getting 4 damage or 5 damage quickly. So it'll just help you play a little more defensively and build up your hand quickly because you know, damage check them more since you have more. So yeah, 7 crit, 5 draw, and then 4 Recollection, Star-vader, Tellurium. I don't even know. 4 heal. So pretty standard lineup. And then let's move on to our stride units. So we have 4 Death Star-vader Omega Loop Glendios. What this card does is counterblast to choose a face down card named Death Star-vader Omega Loop Glendios from your G zone and turn it face up. If you have a card in your heart with Glendios and its card name, your opponent chooses one of his or her rearguard for each of your rearguards with reverse with the reverse R in its card name, and put it at the top of and put the top card of his or her deck to that rearguard face down as a locked card. Then if the number of cards in your damage zone is 5 or more, all your opponent's locked cards cannot be unlocked during his or her next end phase. So he does help you, get some cards locked a little quicker. That's why you actually don't play that grade 2 that locks the top card of your opponent's deck, because Omega Loop pretty much does that. So very, very easy to just get all their, much easier to get all their, their whole, sorry, I can't talk. It's much easier with this card to, get the whole field full of units and then lock them. A really good card. He doesn't need, he's basically your early ride. You ride him, stride. You stride him first, of course, because, yeah, you don't need certain amount of cards face. You just have to unflip one of him to activate a skill and counterblast 2. So, hefty cost, though, especially with how many counterblasts you use, but stuff stays Omega locked if you lock enough cards and everything. So, have 5 damage. Sorry, I'm used to some of the other decks where there's a certain number you get that special thing, but no. He gives more of an importance to get to that 5 damage as well, because when you stride, you can just keep cards Omega locked, and he'll help them keep them Omega locked pretty quickly. And then we have 4 Nebula Dragon, Big Crunch Dragon. So what this card does is, once per turn, counterblast 1, and choose a face down card named Nebula Dragon, Big Crunch Dragon from your G zone. Turn it face up. If the number of face cards in your G zone is 2 or more, choose one of your opponent's rearguards. Lock all of your opponent's rearguards in the same column as the unit, and those cards cannot be unlocked during his or her next end phase. So he's pretty much I'd say he's a little better than Omega Loop. The only upside Omega Loop has is calling cards from their top of the deck and then locking them. But other than that, this card pretty much just, locks their rear guards. Like, a whole column can be locked, and then imagine the grade 2 calling that. You lock another thing, and then you just have to use him again, and that's 5 cards locked. But it's very easy to just kind of set up with him as well. He's really, really good in this deck. There's no other card that really benefits this deck overly well, unless you want to focus on something for the mirror matchup, but it's not really worth it. If you play both of these, normally you'll find the situation where you're just locking so much and controlling your opponent's field and Omega locking a lot, and you'll get to world end really quickly. Both of these cards really, really help out the deck with just quickly Omega locking stuff, because they're just so good. Anyways, that's about it for this deck profile. Sorry if I blabbed a little bit. This is the type of deck that always kind of confuses me a little. I understand it, but I can never explain it right, if that makes sense. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Let me know what you think. And yeah, the deck list will be in the description below as always. And I'll see you guys next time. If you guys want to see more videos from me, on the left there are Let's Play videos, so you can go and check those out. And if you guys aren't up for that, on the right there are Cardfight Vanguard videos, so you can go and check that out. And if you're still not up for those, I have Super Smash Bros, Pokemon, and a Versus series on my channel, so you can go to my channel and check that out. Also, down below is my review channel where I do reviews, countdowns, game chats, which is like a podcast, and more. And don't forget to check out my Twitter, Facebook, and Skype, all listed at the top there. That is all. Hope you guys enjoy.